Hey, 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 it's me. It's been a while. I mean, look at my hair. It's shorter. What the fuck? But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And I apologize in advance. This is not scripted in any way, so I could just be yapping about nonsense over and over. But I am currently experimenting on what content I should upload, and I would like to treat my YouTube as like a diary of some sort, or I don't fucking know. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Do I like it? It's alright. Is it bad? Debatable. But I would like to give you a more deeper analysis, deeper. I'm not like some sort of movie critic or some shit like that, but I would like to talk about it. And also spoiler warning if you haven't seen it. I don't know why you're here. And also, I would like to apologize again because it has been 2 days since I have watched the movie in theaters and my memories kind of all jumbled up, but I am going to try my best to remember what happened. And that's the thing. There are some good moments in the movie, but also a lot of pretty boring ones. So, let's get right into it, shall we? So, first scene, right? We go back in the past to the origins of Five Nights at Freddy's. And we have the backstory of Charlotte. And basically, Charlotte sees a boy being taken by none other than the yellow bunny. Ooh, scary. And then she does the most logical thing a kid can do, or somebody, or even an adult can do, and call others for help because she saw something that is traumatizing or something that is wrong. But what but what I hate that they do in this movie is that and it does its thing, it's for the plot, but it's like the parents in this movie are so fucking stupid. That's the thing. It's like you can see Charlotte like, "Oh shit. Can you help me? So that animatronic just took that boy," and they're like, "Ah, fuck out of here, kid. You're stupid. Get the fuck out of here. This is adult talk." I'm like, what the fuck? I Is this like a social commentary on how parents are like neglecting children? It's like, okay, sure, okay, that's kind of a doozy. And then no parent, of course, then helps Charlotte. Charlotte goes in by herself, courageously. And then, of course, he then goes there. And then, of course, she then goes there. They do a bunch of like really thrilling scenes. She then grabs the boy. She tries to run away. And then, I mean, I don't know what to think of this scene in which like she's like running, she's like running as fast as she can, and then just like the slow walking of the animatronic, like, I'm coming to get you. It's me, William Afton. Hell yeah, I'm going to stab you with my knife. And then it's just like, okay, you're dragging this on just a little bit. Or maybe I'm just nitpicking. It's just that. And then Charlotte actually makes it outside. She enters the stage where everyone can see her, but no one is paying attention because we're having a party. Oh, let's have the fucking pizza. Don't mind that fucking kid that's on the fucking stage that's carrying a fucking passed out child. And then she like shouts to get their attention. And then another thing that I found really fucking stupid is that when she shouted, every fucking one of them just looked at her while she's carrying this passed out child. What? No one, not even the staff, came to help this poor girl carrying a passed out child. What? And I actually don't know if she let go of the child that she was carrying, but then the floor opened up to the stage and then she fell. into the stage, right? And then that's when the marionette reveal happens, which is actually pretty fucking cool. I have to admit, that was a really cool scene where I don't want to assume the marionette's gender, but the marionette then carries Charlotte. And then that's how I guess Charlotte possesses the marionette. And that is basically what sets up the entire story. Then that's it. And then we fast forward. Now we have the life of Mike and also Vanessa and then Abby, which they're trying their best to move forward, but Abby still misses her friends, and Vanessa keeps getting these nightmare terrors, and Mike just does his best to keep on moving forward. Abby really misses her friends, that she asks Mike, like, oh, can you take me there? But Mike says, oh, no, they're broken, even though they're not, just so they can move forward. And that's a really interesting, like, plot, I guess, but it just drags on. It's kind of boring in a sense. While obviously everyone is trying to move forward, Abby still misses her friends. She tells the school about, like, oh, I had this amazing adventure uh, of my friends, the Freddy Fazbear gang, and then obviously none of the students actually believe in her, but actually thinks that she's interesting. And then we get introduced to her robotics class, and then the teacher absolutely fucking hates the animatronics for some reason, which is actually kind of hilarious. And then then the professor proposed an event, which was like the science fair project or whatever, and he did it at the same time of the Fazbear like festival that was going on, just to fucking spite it, which is incredible. And then Abby obviously wants to create her own like animatronic to so as like tribute to her friends, but then the professor, as like the number one Faz hater, is like, ah, actually you need to make another. Then that shit is taboo on the robotic sphere. And obviously Abby's like, no. I was like, ah, shit. And then that's fucking cross you out. We're gonna pretend that I invited you to the event, but actually I actually canceled you. And then obviously Abby is down in the dumps and really misses her friends. I keep saying that because she fucking really misses her friends. They fucking make sure you get that point across. And then she rebels Mike, and then she goes back to the place. It's all like down in the dump. Everything's broken. But we don't actually get to see the animatronics here yet, the original ones. But then Mike obviously goes to Abby. He consults her, and then they do this some kind of role play, like, oh, what do you want? You have 1,000,000 tickets. And then Abby just sees this mysterious toy. They thought it was broken, but actually, the fucking marionette is actually fucking communicating through that toy through Abby, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's move forward just a little bit. So there are actually two restaurants in this movie. And the first restaurant, the one that's in the first movie, is actually not the original. It's like just another branch. And then we get introduced to the actual original location in which where the marionette resides. Is it clear? Are you following me? We also get introduced to this a bunch of like ghost hunter YouTubers, where like McKenna Grace and her gang is there. And then that's where we get introduced to Michael Afton, which was just out of the blue. Just like boom, jump scare, just like there. And he guides them through the original restaurant, and then they get killed one by one. And then McKenna Grace then hears like the music box. Oh, my camera lag there. She hears like the music box, and then every time she takes her headset off, it's like, I don't hear anything. Oh wait, am I hallucinating? And then she like then goes to the room where like the marionette resides, and then clearly there's the music box playing. I mean, it makes sense for her to turn it off. It makes a lot of sense. I'm not complaining about that. This is actually one of the better scenes in the movie. And every time the marionette appears, it's the movie experience just goes up. And then every time marionette disappears, it like slightly goes down. So then of course she turns off the music box and then she gets possessed by Charlotte. And then Abby gets communicated through the phone toy, and then Abby goes to the original restaurant. They have a reunion of the toy animatronics, which is actually not the original, but Abby thinks that they are. And then they help her with her robotics project, and then this is actually a kind of funny, but also kind of cheesy part of the movie where like the and where Abby goes to the event, and then she tells her professor like, "Oh, where's my table? I just finished my project." And then the professor's like, Actually, I thought you weren't attending, so there aren't any tables left." And then a friend of Abby is like, "Oh, actually, I saved up a table just for her." And then I was like, "This fucking kid." Let me take a look at that project. He's like, "Oh," and then just pretends to drop it. That was that was kind of like kind of funny, but also kind of cheesy. And of course, uh, Abby is like distraught over what fucking happened, and then she goes back to the original restaurant, and then she tells Toy Chica what happened, and then Toy Chica is like, "What if I be your science project?" And Abby's like, "Really?" But then Toy Chica is like, "But you have to do something for me first. You have to unlock the perimeter so I can get the fuck out of this place." And then while all of this is happening, Vanessa actually visits the restaurant as well, but Charlotte chokehold her. I was like, "Oh, well, tell us the fucking password to the fucking perimeter." And then Toy Chica then says the password to Abby, and then they go out. And then that's when Toy Chica went to the event, and then the professor is like, "Oh, this is a fucking disgrace. This is not robotics, and that's a fucking costume." And then Toy Chica's like, "I'm gonna be right back," and then just fucking kills the guy. And then, of course, not only Toy Chica is the only one that's like out and about. Uh, the other toy, the other toy animatronics actually also go out. And you might think like, obviously, the people might call like the police because there's fucking animatronics just moving everywhere. But you have to remember, there's a fucking Freddy Fazbear festival going on, so no one will call the fucking police. So then the main mission of the toy animatronics is to kill the parents because of Charlotte's hatred of the parents, which is fucking valid. I mean, come on. Come on. They literally ignored her, and then she passed away, and then passed it off as like an accident. It's like, oh, okay, sure. Mike then notices that Abby. And then Mike then notices that Abby has been visiting like the new location, and then Mike goes to the new location, and then Mike meets up with Vanessa there, and then Vanessa tells like him to like shut down the perimeter or whatnot. And then this is where the game mechanics start to seep into the story. And as a FNAF 2 enjoyer, what the fuck? First off, the toy animatronics are not anywhere near the restaurant. So we have the old animatronics. Old. They're actually just prototypes. They're not actually like the original fucking animatronics. I guess that's half of like the threat just gone. And then Mike like sees the mask on the chair, like the Freddy Fazbear mask that you use in the game, and then he's like, "Will that work? I don't know what basis I am going off of, but what if that will work?" And then obviously he tries it out. It fucking works. And you know what's fucking hilarious is that uh obviously there's a lot of animatronics that's coming at him, right? And then there was like, I think it was Bonnie in the vent, and then Mike just closes the fucking vent again. What? That wasn't in the game. You can't just close the vent. You have to use the mask. and then Balloon Boy was in front of Mike, and then obviously, for in order to get rid of Balloon Boy, you have to wear the mask, or at least when he's actually right in front of you, he already took your batteries and you can't do anything about it. That's his role. But you know what Mike fucking does? He fucking stands up, takes his head off, just snaps his head. Done. Just Balloon Boy is fucking dead. And then Foxy then comes running, running slowly. And then Mike is like, you might think like, oh, maybe he's gonna grab the flashlight since the mask doesn't work. He tries, but the mask doesn't work. And Foxy is literally right in front of him, like here. And then he's like, okay, let me just go into the computer while Foxy is there and then disable there. That was fucking stupid. That's one of my main complaints, is that they didn't stay true to the game mechanics. And you might think, oh, it's realistic. How is it fucking realistic when literally Foxy was right in front of him and then he just types away in the computer? Nonchalantly, I might ask. I might add, not ask. It's like, and then I'm getting off track. But then and then he disables like the animatronics. They woohoo! It's like good ending. Let's go back to the house now. But actually, Charlotte is actually there, the marionette, and then the marionette then possesses Abby. And then, oh, I forgot to add a major plot point. Henry is the father of Charlotte, right? And they get introduced, and then Henry then gives a music box to Mike. So then Mike goes running. He's running to the fucking house, and then he meets up with Vanessa, who's also in the house, and then it's like trying to control Abby or Charlotte. And then Mike is like, "I'm here to save the day. I've got the music box." Like, I guess calms Charlotte in a way, but she's still fucking evil. My memory of this is like jumbled up because this was such a what the fuck moment. And then Michael Afton is there, and then Michael reveals to Mike that, I'm actually the brother of Vanessa. Vanessa is an Afton. And then Mike's like, what? What? I can't trust you anymore. And then it's like, shit. And then Vanessa is like, no, I will make my own destiny. I'm not going to be like you and father. And then Michael's like, be it your way. I don't give a damn, but I am going to do my purpose. And then just gathers the whole fucking toy animatronics. Like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? And then it's literally it's literally an Avengers moment. And then like I was expecting for like the old animatronics to like say on your left. And then they all come and it's like this big, by the power of friendship, we are going to defeat the old animatronics. And then it's just this like battle, and then Michael Afton just oh, I'm fucking dipping, fuck this shit. And then that's the end. That's the end. Now that we have that out of the way, is it a bad movie? Depends on who you ask. Because this movie is truly for the fans, right? It is for the fans. And I guess you could say that some people might enjoy it that's not in the FNAF space, but I kind of doubt it because the movie is not scary. Sometimes the movie is stupid. And sometimes it's just dumb fun. And what's wrong with that? Personally, I like it. It's okay. Yeah, that's literally my take. I just had to fucking talk about the plot in some way. That's about it. Bye bye. Fucking FNAF 2. Holy shit.